Boss, do you know that people are making a ton of cash in the medical transportation industry? So in today's conversation, we want to quickly talk to you about how to get medical transportation contracts. Okay, and here is an industry where you don't need to have a lot of experience. You can use a cargo van, a box truck, a sprinter van, and you are in. Now, if you are trying to if you haul the small loads though, because if you want to go for the larger loads, then you might need some kind of regulatory approval. You might get some certification. But if you're going for the regular medical routes, you don't need to be certified. So here's the approach I want you to really pay attention to. If you're trying to get medical transportation contracts, first of all, you need to choose a particular niche. See, the whole thing is that a lot of haulers, a lot of delivery drivers, they're trying to jump on everything. And they say, well, I need to get medical. I just need to get a dedicated medical route. But see, if you don't choose a particular niche, you are fighting against a lot of rivals out there, because you have a lot of guys. They are fighting big time to get the same route that you are going after. It's like you're just wasting your time on load bars, trying to get like a medical route on load bars. It's just a waste of time. So you need to choose a particular niche that is not very competitive, where you are among a few who are just eating. You're just eating. You just eating quietly and just making your money and no questions asked. So in the areas that has a lot of medical transportation, providers actually are competing. So what you want to do is you can choose to cater to any patient, from diabetic patients, or let's say to those that have chronic illness that require medical transport. Again, we're talking about medical transportation. Okay, we're not talking about transporting medical medication. No, we're speaking about medical transportation. So specialized forms of non-emergency transportation benefits both parties, as they both get what they want, though this can be quite difficult to execute if you live in a sparsely populated area where NEMT service is barely required. Okay, boss, by the way, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. In today's conversation, I'm talking to you about how to get medical transportation contracts. Number one, you want to choose a particular niche. Number two, you want to form relationships with medical institutions. So I want you to, right now, in your city, in your town, in your county, in your state, you need to form relationships with everything from large medical institutions to medical labs, okay, and to clinics. Because the whole thing here is that when we talk about getting medical transportation contracts, you need to understand that medical institutions, like large hospitals, large clinics, they are always ready to give out NEMT contractors, as they cannot afford to use their own services for NEMT operations. So this mutually profitable partnership is one that requires a lot of hard work and trust to be achieved. So such opportunities are usually not listed online and will require you to physically negotiate with the hospitals in your locality. This is why I keep saying that when we talk about delivery business in general, it's a geography-based business. Step number three, you want to look for private clients that require your services. Boss, I'm just explaining to you how to make money delivering, like if you want to make money in terms of medical transportation, you need to form relationships, but you want to form relationships with private clients also. Okay, so some health insurance companies do not cover transportation for medical appointments for their patients. So such patients are usually those that need regular transportation to hospitals and other medical care sites, such as dialysis centers. So these patients would instantly subscribe to a medical transportation business that can offer them sufficient medical transportation services at a very affordable price. Okay, so please be very careful about the price, because those patients, they are price sensitive. So in this case, your best bet will be to offer specialized services to price yourself competitively. Okay, this is important. By the way, boss, again, I want to remind you of the conversation we're having today. I'm explaining to you how to get medical transportation contracts. We're not speaking about medication. No, we're speaking about transporting people or transporting equipment, okay, in the medical context. So number four, you want to offer specialized or alternative services. And the thing is that private patients might be more than willing to employ your services if you're able to offer them the services that they desire, right? So NEMT companies always look out for ways to diversify their services to attract more customers. The whole thing is you want to diversify your offers. You know why? Because you want to generate revenue on a consistent basis. So if you put all your eggs in the same basket, if something happens to that basket, you are toast. So this is why you need to put your eggs in different baskets. So by offering specialized or alternative services, you are actually having another basket. So if something happens to one basket, you can still survive. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So you can do this to attract more customers, especially those who are struggling to find transportation providers that can take care of their medical needs. Okay, so please be very careful here and be also innovative. Number five, you want to collaborate with local brokers for new contracts. The thing is that you do have NEMT brokers, and they are a great way to quickly get some new contracts as they seem to have a lot of clients waiting for the right transportation service to pop up. So in general, one thing we like to say here is that it's a lot better to have freight brokers than trying to waste your time on load boards. So if you're trying to get loads, whether we're speaking about medical routes or medical transportation loads, it's just better to work with brokers or freight dispatchers. And in this case, NEMT brokers are really great. They're a great way to actually accelerate your success as the medical transportation contract business. And so this is kind of cool. And now the thing is that the thing is that a lot of folks are staying away from brokers. Is that brokers usually charge a brokerage fee. In some cases, the broker might not have any contracts to give you either. So the unavailability of a new contract is most prevalent in rural areas where the population is sparse. In such a situation, you would have to take the hard route to get new contracts yourself. But if you live in a large city such as New York or Austin, Texas, or LA, you do have a lot of brokers out there, and they'll take care of you. The thing you want to do next is you want to market your services to the target audience. See, the thing is that, if you're trying to get medical transportation contracts, let's say you have a medical transportation business and you're trying to really make yourself known. If you don't market your services to the right audience, you're not really going to see any traction. So you need to really, really make sure that you find ways to talk directly to the audience that you want to reach out to. So with the right marketing, you could potentially be visible to all of your ideal clients at once. That's what you need anyway. And your service clients can be from a variety of places, including retirement homes, nursing homes, for example. Okay, it can be like medical facilities within hospitals. And so this is good. So the best way to market your NEMT service is usually online. So advertising online allows you to reach out to any clients that is looking for your service in any instant. So for example, if you are, let's say, in New York, you can try to market your business to the tri-state area. So Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. This is really good. Number seven, one thing I want you to do here is to stay in contact with your customers. This is so important. I mean, you need to cultivate a true relationship with your customers. I'm not saying you can become a family or whatever, but you need to really treat your customers as queens and kings. Okay, building rapport with your customers is really a vital component for all NEMT businesses because it allows you to retain customers for a longer time. And following up and knowing the case of your patient in and out is really, really good. So you're able to know exactly what's happening. You're able to know what's happening in terms of the progress of the condition that the patient has. Okay, so you want to communicate as soon as possible because the thing is, see, in this industry, when it comes to medical transportation contracts, you'll be really surprised, boss. You'll be really surprised, but word of mouth is just so crazy. It's crazily powerful. If people start talking about your business, basically, you wouldn't even need to do any sort of promotion. You will have revenue coming to you like crazy because people will start calling you. That's why you want to treat every patient as if he or she were the only patient that you have, because that way the patient will feel special, and the patient will recommend your business to other patients as well. Okay, so this is important. And if your service clients refer you to other people who require NEMT services, then you are more likely to be chosen by the new clients. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. Once again, we're having a conversation about how to get medical transportation contracts. How do you actually get the contracts real quick? So, and also use software to streamline regular processes. The thing is that you have a lot of software solutions that solve logistical issues. And most businesses do not realize how much time and effort can be saved by a bit of software. So even a medical transportation business can potentially save hours of time with the route planning software tool. Okay. So you can save hours on tasks such as dispatching, route optimization, route scheduling, and performance analysis, given that you have a brilliant route planner on your side. Okay, this is really good. And so such software solutions can not only refine your processes, but also save you a lot of time and money. So I want you to think deep here. I want you to think holistically and choose the best solution for you. So step number 8, you want to use software to streamline regular processes. So here are the 5, like the not the 5, the 8 steps that you need to follow to actually get your medical transportation contracts. Now I want to give you a few pro tips before we close to this conversation. And so there are things you need to check before getting medical contracts. This is important. Before signing any legal agreements, you might want to evaluate the credentials and capabilities of your business beforehand to avoid any potential issues, especially when we are talking about the medical field, the healthcare sector. Things can happen real fast. Before you know it, your ass is being sued. You don't want to have patients or clients lawsuits. You don't want to have that because these things can go really, really far. So you need to check to see if you have the necessary equipment. The question is, when you are running a medical transportation business, do you have the right equipment? And you need to have the equipment because this is going to be pivotal depending on the kind of equipment you are transporting or the kind of people you're transporting to. Because if you don't have those could be like you can actually create a problem that is far above what you can imagine. Okay, so sometimes you can have fatal, deadly consequences. So you must take into account all possible medical needs that may arise when you are transporting patients. So it is of critical importance to fully take care of your of your customers when you run your own business, as it can make all the difference. So if you are able to safely and comfortably transport patients for the medical appointments, then your business will quickly start racking up a reputation, which is what you need anyway. The second thing I want you to do here is that you need to actually ensure that you have the required licenses and permits. Boss, I said this before, that when we talk about medical transportation, we're speaking about an industry that's heavily regulated. So make sure you have the required licenses and permits, because otherwise, the state will come and just shut you down like at a moment's notice, no questions asked. Okay, so when you sign the service agreements, it is assumed that you have all the required business certifications. They're operating a medical transportation business without all the required documents can have serious legal ramifications. So don't actually get in a situation where you are exposing your business to that. One thing you also need to do here is that you want to analyze local markets demand. See, going back to what I said, when we talk about medical transportation business or delivery business in general, everything goes by geography. Everything goes local. Everything, like you have to go granular on the local condition. So local conditions, whatever you are at right now, you got to ask yourself, how many medical facilities do I have? How many what's the age bracket in terms of the population? What is the demographics? You need to go you need to go and do some research about your county, your city age brackets, because if you are in a city where you have a lot of old people, chances are you're going to thrive in that industry. But if you have barely any barely any old person, then you're not going to make money. So again, it's all about making sure, because the kind of population you're targeting is made up of senior citizens and people who are sick, whatever the conditions is. Okay, so analyze the local market's demand, and you also get service agreements from other non-medical institutions such as nursing homes. So this is important. So you have nursing homes. You also have, the thing is, you can actually you need to position yourself in such a way that you can qualify for the Medicaid program, the NEMT services from the Medicaid program. You need to also know whether your staff is adequately trained. So far, I'm assuming that you are on your own in your business. It's a one-person business. But if you want to, let's say, if you want to expand at the beginning, or you want to expand like after a while, make sure that your staff is adequately trained. Again, going back to what I said, that most NEMT businesses transport older adults that require special care. So to make sure that their needs are taken care of, you need to train your staff to be diligent during trips. So your staff might want to drive in a way that keeps the client's comfort in mind. So doing these things will establish trust between you and your clients, allowing them to feel confident in recommending you to their contacts. And this is how you grow, actually. And the thing is, all this is made possible by a team that is trained best to carry out a contract. So be very careful here, so that you can grow like crazy in the future. Before I actually close today's conversation, I really want to talk to you about the fact that the medical, like the non-emergency medical transportation field is really growing like crazy. So when I talk about NEMT, this is what I'm talking about, non-emergency medical transportation. I should have actually said that at the beginning. So the bottom line here is that if you have such a business, you have a lot of trains. Now, unfortunately, in a lot of states in the country, the population is getting old. So it's not unfortunate. I mean, it's just a situation, okay? So it's a fortunate development for you, because if you have a non-emergency medical transportation business, you are basically making money because you have a large population of older individuals, older Americans who will need transportation to and fro hospitals, clinics, research labs, and what have you. Okay, and sometimes they don't even need to go to a hospital. You can actually just carry them. Like you can come and transport those older Americans just as they were going to their regular pastime. Like you can transport somebody to a golf club or to a park. It doesn't have to be so it doesn't have to be a medical emergency. That's what I mean. So it's really important to understand that if you want to retain customers, you need to basically trust your customers. They need to trust you. You need to talk to them. So communication is of paramount importance. Okay, and so I just want to say that you talk to the right people. Make sure that you actually do research about what kind of NEMT licenses and permits you need to have in your state. And also, one thing you need to also pay attention to is the ability to drop off. So dropping off is important because, again, as I said before, you're dealing with the very fragile individuals. So you need to be clear about what kind of needs they have. So the drop off is really important. And so the non-emergency medical transportation industry is one that is vulnerable to a lot of fluctuating factors such as demand and transportation cost. So this forces them to actually pay attention to what's happening in the industry. So what's happening here in the industry is that if you are a hard worker, if you're able to communicate with the clients, if you're able to provide the tools and resources the client needs, you are going to survive, not a problem. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about you sitting around and just having and then saying, I have a good market, I'm great, I have a great company. But if you don't actually work it out and make sure that you have a strong NEMT, because at the end of the day, it's not just about you sitting around and just having and then saying, I have a good market, I'm great, I have a great company. But if you don't actually work it out and make sure that you have a strong NEMT business proposal, you're not going to qualify. Simple as that. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly explaining to you how to get medical transportation contracts, how to start a non-emergency medical transportation business. So I give you the approach, the pro tips, and the bonus. Thank you. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.